In this recording, I'm going to continue with Project 3 on using type and vectors. And in this one, I want to just emphasize or show you a couple things you can do with type by itself, and then I'll do a follow-up video that pulls together some information about vectors. In this case, I've chosen as my word daisy, and I've picked out a quote from Chaucer called it said the eye of the day, which is a quote that he used in reference to what the flower daisy was, and I've added that here in a smaller type in italics. Now I'm going to just highlight all of the word daisy right now, and you'll notice I've picked out Arial Black Regular at 120 point. Now I don't have to have made the type this size when I first started. I could have just typed out a word and then highlighted it like this and made it whatever type size I want it to be. Or I could change it, as I did in this case. I just went from 120 to 130. So if I'm satisfied with this larger size, I could say okay, but I can always come back and change it again, even later on. So it's not like I'm married to the size all the way through this project. I might decide later to change it again. The same with the eye of the day. In this case, I chose an italic font, and it's just 30 points, which is much smaller than the other. Then if I wanted to, I could choose the move tool and move this around and have it fit in different places in relationship to the other items in the other layers. Right now I do have everything on a separate layer, the word Chaucer, the eye of the day, and daisy, so I have a little bit more flexibility. You might even decide that you want to select one letter and have just one letter typed on a separate layer where you can move it around in different ways. If I wanted to, I could choose a new type tool, click here to make a new type layer, type the letter D by itself, highlight it. Maybe I want to do another really bold letter of some kind. In this case it was Helvetica, and I'll choose like 150 point and then click OK. So if I wanted to, maybe I can come back and I might decide I want to use this letter D in place of this one and move it around in different positions in relationship to the word daisy. Right now I'm just going to turn that off. I'm not going to use it at all. I want to show you some more things that you can do by selecting a whole letter or group of letters. Enable some tracking. Up here where the letter V and A are together with a two-way arrow, if I move up on top of that and see the little hand with the two-ways arrow, and then press the mouse button, I can drag it to the left, which will tighten up all the letters to get closer together, or I can drag to the right and spread them out even further. So you can spread out your letters using tracking, or you can make them closer together. If you wanted to, you can make a letter pair closer together or further apart. So if I wanted to make the space between D and A, I click between the D and A, and then I can come to kerning, which looks like about the same thing, but in this case it only moves the space or makes the space different between the letter D and the letter A. When I go left, they begin to overlap, and when I go to the right, they begin to spread out. Now I know I want to add a picture of probably a flower or a daisy here in place of the letter A, so I might want to adjust the spacing between here a little bit more in order to allow for that, but I'll decide that later on. In addition, you can do a couple other things, like you could highlight a single letter and you could stretch it taller, which some purist type typographers would think that would be a crime or a sin. Or I could put it back to 100% again if I chose to. But for this project, you can stretch the letters bigger if you want to. And in this one, you can do the reverse. You can make it wider. So if I make this larger than 100%, I can make a wider D, which looks a lot like that Helvetica D I did a minute ago. Or I could make it narrower by making it like a smaller number than 100%. So you can do some things with stretching letters if you wanted to. It goes back to 100%. It's back to where it was when it started. I could do a subscript. I could make a letter a subscript or a superscript. So I can make a letter go up higher or lower from its baseline. But if I wanted to not go to those extremes, I would probably want to use that separate letter like I did with the letter D, that I could move around in different positions to make it look the way I wanted it to look. That is all I'm going to cover in this particular video. I just wanted to give you an introduction to a little bit of the options that were in the character panel, and I hope that gives you a start on the project. Thanks for joining me.